How's everyone doing out there tonight? Okay, well, I just got home from school basically, and I'm looking to fix up something to eat that's healthy, inexpensive, light, and delicious, actually. So, what I did, I make this meal a lot. I always start out with about 25 strands of whole wheat linguine in just a little bit of boiling water just to get that going. So that way the water is going to be nice and hot and it's going to cook actually faster. And I'm going to let that go about halfway, so the linguine is about halfway done, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to start adding things. Okay, so I'm going to slide this over. All I have here is just a little non-stick pot and a little single burner cooker. So this is a real easy meal for anyone to make. Like I said, healthy, inexpensive, quick, light, and delicious. And you can make it, you can alter the recipe in a variety of ways to your liking. So I'm even going to show you some of the prep I do and how quickly and easy everything is. So while the linguine's going there, I'm just going to take an onion and just going to basically cut the ends off. And then I'm going to have one slice down the side, which is going to make it a lot easier to peel. And basically that outer shell will just peel off nicely after that. And then I'm just going to take that onion, and I don't have any fancy processors or anything. That would work great if I did, so you can use that. But I'm just going to like slice the onion, just like I'm a deli slicer. And I'm going to slice it. Now I basically have the whole thing sliced. And I'm going to turn the whole thing about 90 degrees, lay it down. I'm going to slice it again. And then sort of grab it or turn the bowl 90 degrees laterally. And I'm going to slice it again. So that does a pretty decent job of dicing it up. And if you want to go a little further, just take a fork with the knife and you can get it even better. Just making it as small enough to your own liking. Now I'm going to take a jalapeno pepper. I've already washed it. Just going to cut the head of that off. Slice right down the side. Open it up. Going to carefully carve out the white sections only, where the white and the seeds are. This is going to reduce the heat of the pepper severely because of you're removing the capsaicin, which is the hot part of the pepper. See all that white right there? We're taking all that out with the seeds. Real easy to do. If you have a nice sharp knife, maybe a paring knife is good, something of that nature. And you just take out as much of that as you like. The more you take out, the less heat you're going to experience in the meal. So then I'm just going to take the pepper, kind of put it back together. And again, I'm just slicing that up as small enough so that it's to your liking. And it doesn't have to be great because you can always just take the fork again, like I did with the onion, and just kind of grind it up a little more like that. So we're just about done the preparation phase. Looks like the pasta's just about halfway done. Stir that up a little bit. The only other thing I'm going to add is going to be some frozen. I have about 5 ounces of frozen broccoli here. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is add the onions and peppers first. So that'll give them more cooking time. And I'm just going to throw them right in because it's such a small amount of water I have in there. That water is pretty much going to get absorbed and evaporate. And we'll never even have to drain the pasta water, which is great because all those vitamins that were in the pasta are going into the water and we're going to end up eating those. We're not going to waste them. So I'm just going to stir up the mixture here. We just had the onions and peppers in there with the pasta. I'm just going to stir that up. basically have this cooker turned all the way up as hot as it'll get. Just going to let that go a little bit. I can pretty much hold off on the broccoli. The broccoli is only going to need about 2 minutes because it'll take about a minute for it all to thaw out and another minute for it to heat up and cook in with everything. I'm probably going to add some ingredients now. I'm going to add I have some Texas Pete's hot sauce here, which is one of my favorites. So I'll go with about 5 or 6 splashes of that in there. Alright, then I'm going to come back in with some soy sauce. It's nothing fancy, just some regular soy sauce. You can use low sodium if you like. I'd rather just use the regular stuff because it's a lot cheaper and I just use less of it. So I go with about, I guess, a little less than a teaspoon thrown in there. And I just throw that right in there. And that'll give me a little bit of sodium. But I don't need much because I have so many other spices. As you will see, now I go with some garlic powder. I go with about 2 or 3 shakes of that in there. About 3 shakes of crushed red pepper. Keep stirring. The trick to this is to keep stirring it up because that's going to expose everything to the heat. And this is the majority of the cooking time right now. Those onions are starting to break down a little bit. Just depends on your preference too, how you like everything. You know, I don't like things overcooked, but you know, I like it to the point where you have a little bit of a caramelized flavor from the onions, and I like my pasta a little on the firm side, a little al dente. There's been some studies, some research showing that it might be healthier that way. It might not spike the glucose as quickly, so that's a good thing too. We went with the whole wheat pasta, which is better in my opinion in the first place. And one day, this is a 13-ounce box. They tell you to have, like, a serving is basically 1/7 of this box. Now, years ago, I would eat like 1/3 of this box would be a serving for me. But I was also 3 pant sizes larger than I am today. So I made that change, and it's made a difference. And what I do now today, one day I sat there and I actually counted the number of strains. And it comes out to like 300 strains in the whole box. So then I just divided that by 7, and it'll give you a number somewhere like maybe 40, something like that, strains in a serving. So I did even better, and I go all the way down. And well, if you went with 40 strains, that would be what they count as a serving. And they say that that's 41 carbohydrates. Okay, so it's about 1 carbohydrate per strain of pasta, which is pretty high. So I decided to lower that number to 25 strains. So I use 25 strains in this meal, and it's great because with all the vegetables, I'm full when I get done. And I'm only getting 25 carbs from the pasta, and I'm probably not getting much more from broccoli, onions, and jalapenos because they don't really have much. So it's a good, filling, healthy meal. It's a light meal. I like it for dinner. I get most of my protein earlier in the day. Later in the day, I get most of my vegetables. So far today, I've had 2 vegetables. From this meal alone, I'm getting 3 servings. So that'll give me 5 for the day, which is the minimum that you should get. So it looks like everything's cooking up nicely there. The colors are starting to change. It's starting to look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and toss my broccoli in right now, which is pretty frozen still. And pretty much the remainder of the meal now. Everything's starting to thicken up. The only thing we have to do is just kind of cook that broccoli down. The pasta's starting to get softer. I can see that. Everything's starting to look good, take shape. Spices are starting to blend. I'm starting to smell it. Everything's smelling real good. I use this time, I do a little cleanup. And there's not much mess. I mean, it was just basically me prepping that onion and jalapeno. That's the only mess. And that's the worst part of cooking, is cleaning up the mess. And this meal, I think I've been at this now for maybe, what, 10 minutes? and I'm almost done, really. You know, I got my bowl here ready to go. Pretty much the last step is just going to be throwing this in the bowl. Now sometimes I make it with more water, and it ends up kind of being like a hot and spicy soup. And I eat it that way sometimes in the colder weather, or if I'm just in the mood for that. If I'm dehydrated, I get more water that way. Today, it's going to be more of a thick concoction. So it's kind of more like a vegetable lo mein at a Chinese restaurant. That's the closest thing that this resembles. And like I said, it's a great meal for late in the day. It's about 6 o'clock p.m. right now, and this is going to satisfy me for hours. You know, if I need a light little snack, 8 o'clock, maybe I'll have something, but it's very rare that I ever do. This is a very satisfying meal, and I think a lot of it is the onions, which are very satisfying. I mean, I'm eating a whole onion here, and I'm eating like 6 ounces of broccoli, which is also very satisfying. So it's great. The jalapeno gives it a nice kick. You know, the whole wheat pasta makes it kind of pulls everything together and makes it more like a meal. And it also gives me a little more protein. This isn't a real high protein meal. You know, the whole wheat pasta, the protein coming in at 7 grams per serving. And like I said, I'm doing probably like a little more than half of a serving going with the 25 strains of the pasta. So I'm probably pulling in, I don't know, 3-4 grams of protein. But that's okay. I got a lot of my protein earlier in the day at breakfast, which is a big part of my protein, that meal. And lunch I pick up a lot of protein. So I'm pretty much kind of cruising to the finish line at this point of the day. And I got to get my vegetables in. I want something satisfying. We're almost there. Everything's starting to thicken up. The broccoli's definitely thawed out by now, and it's actually starting to, you can see that, it's really coming along nice. I mean, this is like something you get at a restaurant, you know. This whole meal probably cost me, you know, a bag of that broccoli is like $1, and I'm using half a bag. That's 50 cents. The whole wheat pasta, I get a whole box for $1. So that's probably, I don't know, what, 10 cents worth I'm using? An onion, I mean, what's that? Another 25 cents. The jalapeno is probably another 25 cents. This is an awesome meal that anybody can throw together. There's like virtually no cleanup. It's delicious. You can use other spices if other things intrigue you. You know, you can go with paprika, any kind of black pepper. There's so many healthy things out there to use. There's so many different vegetables you can throw in this. If you don't like onions or you don't like peppers, I mean, God gave us this great assortment of vegetables. Surely anyone can come together with 2 or 3 that go well together and that they enjoy. It's a very easy meal to make, and I make this quite often. So it looks like it's ready. Now I'm just going to kill the heat. I'm going to scoop everything in here. The water's pretty much all evaporated out. Everything's thickened up nicely. The Texas Pete hot sauce has kind of gotten into everything and gave everything a nice orange glow to it. And I like hot and spicy, so this meal's right up my alley. It might not be everyone's, but at least it could give you some ideas. You know, and this is great. I'll try to show you what it looks like. You can't really see all the peppers in there and everything, but it's, you know, it's a lot of green and it's a lot of onions, and like I said, it's more like a vegetable lo mein than anything else. And real easy meal to prep. I basically showed you the prep and the cooking process. So good luck with everyone.